Good morning, everyone. We're editing. Let me show you what we got. To start us out, all I've done is really just kind of thrown the clips on the timeline and slept on a bit of stabilization. I haven't even really adjusted it that much. These first few clips you can see for sure with the heron. This is before I was resting the camera on the edge of the window, which does help. So we saw a heron. That's cool. Just kind of went through them. There's no audio for any of this. That camera doesn't record audio great anyway. And apparently I had that setting turned off, so I'll add in some music or something like that. But by this point, we probably did a little better. Although, yeah, you can see the stabilization is never. This is why I don't really do this. It's cool, but you don't get the full length of clips. The stabilization's wacky all over the place. I can go in and adjust it a bit more, but you can see it's really kind of like struggling to focus with everything there. That was a weird one. I haven't done any. That was a weird edit, or I haven't edited that at all. What happened there? Did I move the camera down? I must have. So yeah, that will be something that like we'll put in some cross fading, and we'll do some other stuff. This one's better. This one's fairly more usable. Although I think it goes the automatic focus is on, so it goes up. Oh, here's some sunflowers. And then we're hoping it'll get back out to the bird and more, and then the bird. There we go. That's actually not bad. For me, not manually pulling focus like I usually do, not bad. And yeah, we'll shoot a little bit of that there. You get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes of this is what this looks like. Though, actually, let me see, where's that clip? Here. Our first one is this, right? It's pretty wobbly, even with what it was. Here's it originally. All I've done to it was a color grade and then stabilized it. Can you see what we're working with there? Anyway, let's see. We saw that. We had moved on to looking at the swallows. There we go. Nice swallows. Okay. All right. Those are there. Those were sitting there. Um, oh, there was a barn, and somewhere I was really trying to find it. I had seen up very near the top of these crops here, which I'm pretty sure are corn. Definitely corn. Oh, there's a yellow-headed blackbird. You can see at least one. This clip might not make the final edit. That is not good. Ugh. It's all over the place, even with as stabilized as I made it. That is just not great. This one's a little better, but again, ugh. Yeah, I'm going to go in and tweak all the stabilization on everything here. Also, this one's crooked. I did not get a good angle. That's better. Less zoomed in, but a lot easier, which is what happens when you're all the way zoomed in. Every little tiny shake is just magnified by the time you get to the end of it. And I'll have to clean up the ends of every one of these clips, but I think we're almost. No, we got a little bit more. Here, just enjoy the heron just sitting there. That one's not bad. The stabilization works on that one pretty well. And there's the yeah, osprey. Oh yeah, there we go. It's a much nice cleaner shot. You can really see it's an osprey there. That's nice. That'll be good. And now for the main event. Did we see something we've never seen before? There it is. Let me switch over to add in our book cam. All right. So there is something different. Yellow legs, white body, but with brown on top near the head. And this was the first thing we did. We saw it didn't work. I believe we did another loop around, came back, and there it is out there. That's a much better, clear shot. We can zoom in a bit, but like it's not like we get any more resolution on that. So I'm pretty sure, based on what I saw, I think I know what it is. I don't think we have to do much flipping around in the book to get to it. I just need to look up where. Need to make sure it's still in frame, I assume. And look for BITT Bittern, number 258. And 256. Pelicans we were looking at. Okay. Bittern. Huh. Well, Okay. There's maybe a little bit of striping. Let's continue watching this clip. See if our focus gets any better. I don't think so. It's pretty far. Oh, hello. What are you doing? It's not quite. Um, Often seen motionless with head up. All right. Well, yeah, maybe. Okay. Boy, it's a struggle. Okay. But yeah, short beak with that. Are there any other options around here? Okay. Black crown night heron. It does have more white on the body, but I don't think so. Ooh. Okay. Boy, these are similar as a juvenile. Ooh. Okay. Well, it's definitely not that, and I think that's it before we get into other things. Okay. Ooh. So the juvenile can be more brown, which is what we have, and it's got striping all along there and white there. Yes, yes, yes. It could be that. Um, but then there's the bittern. The American bittern is seen here. The black-crowned night heron is seen here. So both are contenders. Extensive yellow on bill. Let me read, which you're not going to probably be able to. Does it have anything else of uh, juvenile distinguished by yes, but it doesn't say like, oh, but you're also, I mean, those are pretty similar. Well, the beaks are different shapes, but we can't really get a good shot of the beak. And there it went. Ooh, ooh, this is tough. Man. Almost like its beak is not lining up. Is anybody else seeing that? I know it's hard to tell. Let me go back to here where it's a little bit clearer before we zoomed in. I mean, we're doing our best, but yeah, it almost seems like that bottom bill. No, it's just black. Okay. So it does come all the way out. Oh man. Dark brown streaks for the American. What's the difference between the juvenile? Okay, American juvenile lacks neck patches. So like the black stripe that is, I hope that's on camera. Between these two, there's a blackish malar stripe that goes there, but the juvenile doesn't have that. And it does. Who else doesn't have that? The juvenile black-crowned night heron. Ugh. They both. That one's got much more of a darker crown, which this one had. You know what? I'm almost thinking that this is not the American bittern. The brown upper parts and brownish neck streaks, contrasting dark feathers are conspicuous in flight. Well, we didn't see it in flight. Uh, Note that wings are longer, narrower, and more pointed, not rounded as in night herons. We didn't see its wings out. Oh, man. When alarmed, freezes with bill pointing up or flushes with rapid wing beats. Well, but that's probably not exclusive here. Compare immature in flight also to American bittern. Yeah, that doesn't. I can compare them, but like, what? I don't. I don't know. Um, Gosh, that's close. That's a lot closer than I would have thought. It can really go either way. But I think I wanted it to be the bittern, of course, because that would be one we've never seen before. And I think I've seen the black crown night heron once. but very poor footage of it. So like it would be good either way. I mean, look, I can't. That should not come into the equation as how this goes. Um, I don't think it's a least for multiple reasons. One, we don't really get them in Colorado. Maybe a little bit, but not really. Um, I think that beak is not nearly as long as pointed as like heron, right? I think that eye is not quite yellow. I think it's more darker, like the this. I think we've got a bit more of a darker crown, and we've got black on the up and lower beak, whereas the other one was not so much. Ooh, God, this is not easy. Sometimes this is how it goes, though, with what. I hope you can. Whoop. All right. Then we're looking at the heron. Let me get to a point. I think that's one of the best. I mean, it definitely freezes, which is what it said on the bittern, right? It is not. We are not looking at ideal footage pretty much at all, and that's about as blurry as it can get. I was just gonna switch back so I can see to make sure that you can see because I don't. I haven't been looking at the camera the whole time. It's very possible a juvenile black crowned night heron, which is I'm kind of leaning towards that's what it is. Otherwise, the American bittern. Those are the two, but I see no black stripe, which again makes sense because it says juveniles lack that, but we've got more of a pointed beak here, and I really think it's more pointed than it is kind of thicker there. And the eye color, oh, it is really tough to say. I've not seen either. I've never seen an American bittern before, and I think that continues. I don't think we've seen one today, and I think I've only seen a black crowned night heron once at a very far distance and got a photo of it, but it would have been adult, which is way easier to spot. I didn't even realize that they could be like this. And as it says in the descriptions here, comparing the two, they are pretty similar. Um, so it's possible white on the body that then streaks. It does say extensive yellow on bill, brownish crown. It's the crown. That crown is way more noticeable here than the image. Okay. Okay. I'll tell you what else we're going to do. We have second book. Whenever it comes down to it, we always try to double check multiple sources, especially whenever there is a question about it. Whenever it is questionable, let's see what pages we're looking for here for the bittern. BI 107. And see if it's laid out. A lot of these books kind of lay them out in a very similar fashion, so we might be able to. Okay. Least bitter, no American. Uh, got nothing on the. Okay, this is a juvenile from July through September. That's where we're at. That's the time range. Smudgy brown, bold stripes. That kind of matches. That kind of matches. We do not have a dark malar with that. Let's see. Where would we find the night crowned? Or it's a little one. Okay, black crown night heron. Um, large white spots on wing coverts. That's not nearly as white of a body. July through January, juvenile. Yeah. Heavy but sharply pointed, extensively yellowish bill. Do they both have yellow legs? That's another thing I didn't even. Yeah, dang it. Sometimes that's a good indicator is their leg color. Um, yeah, yeah. I gotta say it's tough. It's real tough. Um, it's not the yellow crown, that's for sure. That's a dark, thick bill. I did not have it. I'm thinking, I'm thinking we have a black crown night heron here. I'm really leaning towards that more so than the bittern, even though so much of it, the way it like stands upright, the way it, This one's eye isn't nearly. It's the red eye too, because I really feel like that's what that looks like. But so this is how it typically goes. It doesn't always take this long when there's something so close like this, but boy, this can happen. Sometimes they're just really close, and we have a juvenile, which makes it even harder. Obviously, like the adult bittern is far more noticeable with like what's on its back and the fact that it has very little white. And this one, that obviously, I mean, look what it goes through. It starts out brown with stripes and things like that, and then eventually becomes almost pure white with black up top. Like very, very different. And you can even look at the difference between the juvenile, which looks very similar between the yellow crowned and the night one, but then by the time they're an adult, like they have completely underchanged quite a what? They've completely undergone a change. Uh, yeah, yeah. I think although it would be really cool to have seen a least bittern, that doesn't make it true. That doesn't make it right. Let's look at this first clip again. It is heading back into there and back into the shadows. And then we have it here. It's really tough to make out. It's so far away. The camera's having trouble focusing. The yeah, yeah, I really oh god. I thought this was gonna be a bit easier. Oh well. I think we have a black crowned night heron. I think we have a juvenile black crowned night heron. It is tough to say, even with the full size on the bigger monitor, which is not something you can see right now. Yeah, yeah. I think that's what we got. And we had a heron laying in the tree at one point. And that's how it goes when I try to identify these things. This is why sometimes it's a longer video when I'm flipping through and I kind of go over the footage and I'll talk about it a little bit more behind the scenes. This is what typically goes on Patreon whenever there is something worthy of recording a video and going, let's identify these birds and see what we saw and try to confirm. This is how it goes. This has been my process for 7 years. Go out, see anything that we can, shoot everything, come back during the editing process, identify at that point, because I just don't. There's a lot of birds, and I don't know all the birds in the bird book off the top of my head. There are many. Honestly, I've never wondered, are there thousands in the United States? Probably. Although these are typically North American, so they just go over the whole continent. But yeah, yeah, there's a lot. And sometimes we see new stuff. Sometimes we see ones that are still pretty exciting that'd be new because we've never seen one on video before, and I wish that footage is a little bit better. I'm going to do what I can to clean it up, so the final product may look slightly different as far as the stabilization goes. But yeah, there you go. I hope this was interesting in some way, and bye, everybody.